Peace and Blackness, Grand Kush 9MGTV. Welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe. This video is for the blacks in America, for our brothers and sisters who are reclassifying themselves based on the expression of Dane Calloway. I'm gonna call you a Dane Calloway Indian, right? This video is about black people in America, my brothers and sisters who are reclassifying themselves as Indian. Some of us even believe that America is older than Africa. And I'm gonna say, get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because that is false, right? So they'll tell you when certain countries became countries in Africa, right? Then that is the start of Africa. False. Let's dig in. Where does the term India come from? Okay, and was America labeled India before the Indian subcontinent? No, it wasn't. America is not older than Africa. Americans are not older than the people that originated in Africa, along with us having African ancestry. Right? Now, if you believe you didn't come over here on a slave ship, a cargo ship, that's your belief. I'm not saying all black people originated in America based on coming here through the transatlantic slave trade. You do your own research on that and you believe whatever you want to believe. But when it comes to the origins of human beings, America ain't got shit to do with it. You understand what I'm saying? And that's you bumping your own head. But Grand Kush is going to do you right. I'm going to put you up on game. And I'm going to show you this factual information. And this comes down to comprehension. Don't listen to people who got mustaches and no beards that look like Hindus telling you they Indians when they might be Indians from India mixed with some Africans, right? Tell you what's cracking in America, okay? Especially when they got straight hair on their heads and things of that nature. Let's go in. Why was India called India? They'll tell you it was Hindustan, it was Bharat, it was other names, and then the British gave India the term India. That's false. Okay, you got to understand history, right? So let's look at this map, and what you want to pay attention to is where it says on the left Arakosha, Mohenjo-daro, and then right under Mohenjo-daro, okay, is the river Sindhu. You see how it has in parentheses Indus, okay? The first people that settled in India was Africans. They became known as the Dravidians, and then as mixtures happened, the changes happened, right? So this is where the term India is drawing from. The river Sindhu, okay? Sindhu is coming from an Indo-European language called Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the language of this subcontinent firstly, right? But how did Sindhu, okay, Sindhu, look this up in the Sanskrit, I think it means river, right? How did Sindhu become Hindu? This comes from the Persians, all right, that invaded India around 500 BC. So you got Hindu being used for India around 500 BC. What does that mean? 500 BC to the Persians was calling Sindhu, or the continent of India, Hindu, right? And you see right here where it says Sindh on the right, to the bottom right, the Indus River. This is what you had to cross. This is where they get the name from. You had to cross through this river in order to get into India, right? So these Persians, okay, you see the Persian Empire, what they conquered, all right? When a people conquer a territory or a land or a continent or a country, that land begins to take on the languages, some of the customs of the people that conquered it, just like we did in America, all right? So the Indus River, the Sindhu River, is some of the original terminologies to address the people and this continent now today called India. Well, how do you get that? Well, you got to understand the origins of words. The origins of words come from languages and tongues, right? So let's look at the origins, okay? Let's check out the origins of the term India. Now, you can do your own research to try to contest this, okay? For those who are trying to deceive you and manipulate you into believing what they want you to believe based on what they think, nah, just do your research. Greg Cush is giving you the proper research. And you can take this into authorship, people who wrote books about the histories of these countries and these continents and things of that nature. It's going to take you right back to this if you are doing your research properly. Okay, so let's look at India. The Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, south of the Himalayas. Formerly, sometimes used generally for Asia. Okay, so they saying at one time, all of Asia may have been called India. Old English. What is the origins of the Old English language? You have to look that up. You can't gloss past this. Old English is giving you India. India from Latin, okay? Who are the Latin people? Who are the first Latin people? You might think of Spain and Spanish and the Latinos, but do y'all know the Romans are the Latinos? The Caucasians, okay? Romans look like white people with brown hair and brown eyes. You might get some blonde hair, blue-eyed Romans back in that time, but Latinos are Roman. Who was a Roman? Alexander the Great. In fact, Alexander the Great, I believe, is the first to go all the way into India. I think. Maybe the Persians, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. So Latin, you got India. But you got to go back to the Greek and you get India. But what does it say? region of the Indus River. Oh, Matt. Region of the Indus River. You see this? You following my cursor? This is the Sindhu, but it said Indus River. It didn't say Sindhu River. You want to know why? Because the language, the alphabet of the Greeks don't produce Sindhu. It produces Indus. And this is called a transliteration, not a translation. If you know the difference. If you don't know the difference, let's look up transliterated. Transliterate. Write or print a letter or word using the closest corresponding letters of a different alphabet or script. So basically what this is saying is when the Greeks got Sindhu and Hindu, right, because they were getting this from the Persians. Give me a minute. So when the Greeks stumbled into India, well, the Greeks predate Alexander the Great, right? When they stumbled or got this word in conjunction with dealing with the Achaemenid Empire, the Persians, where is, you see Greece up here on the left? So what Greece is, Macedonia and Thrace, that's all Greco-Roman. Before it was Greco-Roman, though, it was Persian, Greco-Persian, Persia, Greco, however you want to put that. Persia first, Greco, which means Persia was influencing the culture of Greece, at least in Thrace and part of Macedonia. Okay? And so when the Greeks got a hold of the term India, when they decided to travel in, you got to look that up. And especially when the Romans traveled in, this Sind or Sindhu became Hindu, became Indus. Just like that. When you say Bharat, better, they say that that's was for all of India, but it wasn't. Okay, even though this term is on documents and things of that nature, Bharat was dealing with a people or a culture, right, that was in the northwest part of India, somewhere up here, top of India, right? But anyway, the point of the matter is that Sind, through Sanskrit, the language of the continent of what is called India today, became Hindu or Sindhu from the Persian, that became Indus through the Greeks, and India, one who was from the river Sindhu. They had to cross over this river. So that right there proves to you, okay, that India was in use in the BC times. Origin of the word India, okay? The name India originates from the Sanskrit. So we got what was transliterated, right? Let's look at Sanskrit. Sanskrit, an ancient Indo-Aryan language originating in the 2nd millennium BCE with the Rig Veda is the foundational, refined Samskrita liturgical language of Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. It serves as a sacred medium for scriptures, Vedas, and Upanishads. So this is their language, right? And so India got a deep history. It's as deep as Africa. Okay. Originating in the Northwest. This is where the Northwest. This is where the Bharat is coming from, right? What is the Indo-Aryan language? Languages that are coming from Europe. Originating in the northwest of the Indian subcontinent, it is a member of the Indo-European language family. I got to understand languages. If languages was a way to gauge what people was first, if we use languages to gauge what people was first, then the African languages are the first languages, although they'll say language started in Babylon. That can't be possible if the first people originated, the first humans originated in Africa. They just not going back that far, okay? People didn't leave Africa speaking non-language, I guess. You understand? Grunting and things of that nature. Nah, it was language, okay? So the Northwest language is a part of the Indo-European language family. Vedic Sanskrit evolved into classical Sanskrit, which was highly standardized by the grammarian Panini in the 6th, 5th century BCE. Okay, so you got Sanskrit right there in the origins of Sanskrit. Now, look at the Persian Empire. Is, I believe, 500 BCE when they went into there. So this language was only 100 years older than whatever the Persians were speaking. It gives you the breakdown right there. So we see the origins of Sanskrit. Let's go back. Sindhu, okay, so Persians to Indian and later by Greeks to Indos. So, my black people, how are you using the term Indian? Okay? How are you saying that whatever the original languages of our people speak, that Indian is included? It is a European term. Right? It's a Caucasian term. Okay? You can't gloss over that. The term Indian doesn't make you or doesn't put you in the oldest classifications of people. It doesn't. When it comes from the Greeks. Greeks was eating off the East Africans from the Nubians all the way up to the Egyptians. And even at that time, there is not recordings of what's cracking off in all of Africa. And all of Africa is populated by people. Now here's the kick. Okay? People should leave a people to do their own thing. Which means that no European people or no European countries should have went into Africa and fucked Africa up like in the scramble of Africa. What did they go in there for? Resources. Okay. The scramble of Africa, when did that happen? Y'all got that map? Y'all understand the Persian Empire? Let's do this. Scramble for Africa. Let's blow this up. And they went in there in the 1800s. When did the transatlantic slave trade start? Okay, they wasn't ready to hit all of Africa in the 1500s, in the 1400s. Okay, if you look at the left, it shows you what was cracking off, how it got broke up. And look to the right in the 1525, 1914 partition of Africa. Look who was fucking with Africa. Okay, the Europeans. Should a people leave a people to do their own thing? So without these people coming into Africa, you can't sit here and say Africa would have been poor. Africans are ignorant. Africans wouldn't have built more culture. Africans wouldn't have built cities and states and things of that nature that rival the Europeans. When the Europeans got all their resources down there, all their resources out of Africa. The real resources. And then they came to America and they got secondary resources, cotton, tobacco, you know what I'm saying? Cotton, tobacco, the chronic, okay, herb, hemp was being planted, sugar. What are these things? Okay, the Europeans is chilling now. And so, what do you do with tobacco? What do white people do with tobacco? They smoke that shit when they stressed out. They smoke all day, every day. Puff, 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 drink coffee and drink tea and all that. This is tobacco in this case then is a luxury item. It's not necessarily needed. What is sugar for? It's a luxury ingestment. Is it needed? Not necessarily. Really not at all. Because black people wasn't eating any sugar. The sugar we got was natural from the fruits. Okay, you seeing dances with wolves, the Native Americans, they didn't eat sugar. They didn't even know what that shit was. Right? It's harmful to the body. That shit'll rot you out. And today we have sugar because of slavery. Don't ever forget that shit. Sugar comes because of slavery. Cotton. This is a cotton sweater. This shit is on everybody's back because black people picked the cotton. Africans imported, kidnapped, and imported from Africa into America, did all of this shit right here. Okay? No other straight-haired mankind races is known for having to freely, with no pay, under oppression, pick a plant for somebody else, and they get millions and billions of dollars off of it. So this is the scramble from Africa, 1525, 19 to 1914. Okay. That's deep, man. That's deep. The only people who went around colonizing people are the barbarians. They called the Africans barbarians and savages and things of that nature. Of course they would. When the darkest people, the darkest skinned people have the most peaceful cultures, have the cultivation. But it's how they spread the propaganda that make you think the darkest people with the nappiest hair are all savages. They all barbaric. That's further from the truth. That's further from the truth. All right, so you got this scramble of Africa right there. Back to origins. The Achaemenid Empire, the Persians, the map I showed you, altered Sindhu to Hindu. Okay? India, Hindu is a play on Sind and Sindhu. Okay, and I told you in previous videos that Sindhu is no different from India and Hindu. We just dealing with transliterations, not translations. You know what I'm saying? Like como in Spanish or Latin means what? That's a translation. I translated that Spanish term, that Spanish word. You know what I'm saying? We can get into African American vernacular. If I say, like they say today, because we changing our terms and terminologies as well. That food is bussin'. They might say that today. Right? That means that the food is good. But if I say, hey, you run up on me again, you about to get bust on. We know what that means. They may not know what that means. Right? But the bus, I'm going to translate that, not transliterate that. Transliterate that means when I say to bus, those letters may not be, or the arrangement of those letters may not be in the language that I'm speaking. Okay? So to bus might be changed into to bass, or you're going to change the letters. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to change it to fit your language. That's transliteration. Translation is something different. So these are not translations. These are transliterations. All right? So you get to the Greek transformation out of the transliteration, not the translation. Are we relating? That's called relation. You feel what I'm saying? Ancient Greeks, including Herodotus, adapted this to Indos and India. Okay, so Sindhu to India, right, is what they got, the land of the Indus. And then I showed you the old map right? It says, meaning the land of the Indus. It's Indus on this river. Sindhu. Okay, y'all gotta stop listening to people, man. That's they misdirecting your thoughts. All right. There is no black person with woolly hair. Now, if you don't have woolly hair, you okay, you got a percentage of you is the original human being. Let's keep it real funky right now. Okay. The people with the nappiest hair on this planet are the original people on this planet, whether straight-haired mankind races find the look to be beautiful or not. That doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about human beings versus barbaric people. You're talking about godly people versus the devil's people. Okay? The devil's people are any people that are adverse or in opposite contention against the original human beings on this planet. Okay? They don't have no problem going out and killing the gorillas, killing the monkeys, okay? Killing the elephants for the tusk, killing the rhinos. They don't have no problem with that. Killing gazelles, killing for sport. Here's another thing that you need to think about when you think about the origins of human beings on this planet. Okay? These people that's telling you that they Indians, y'all not scientific. See, they're not going to touch this video or touch this channel or even contend with this because it's already too much to deal with, to think about. The Nawapians brought this information. They got niggas doing real research, and then they got trendy. See, when it gets trendy, when shit gets trendy, you take the style, you bend it, you understand, you bite it, you perpetrate with it, you know, you don't lend to it the value and respect that it originally started off with. They don't have no problem doing the killing. Well, black people this, black people this, black people this. Black people was cool until the white man came. And they'll tell you today, some weak niggas that say today, hey man, stop blaming the white man. The white man is always to blame for something. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, what was the reason and the purpose that these original people's ancestors, because they'll say my ancestors did that. I don't think like that today. But you don't think about what happened because of it. See, you're in privilege zone. You're not dealing with discrimination. You're not dealing with racism. You're not dealing with high interest rates on loans. You know what I'm saying? You're not dealing with a lot of, I mean, you are today, but back then, okay, back then, it wasn't no black people checking whether you can get a mortgage or get a loan or get money or borrow money or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? No. You didn't have to deal with that. And so, yeah, man, white people are to blame. Look what's going on today. White people are doing whatever problem is going on today, seriously, that's affecting the economy, affecting the people, affecting whether people get yoked up out here, get snatched up out here, get interrogated out here, moved around, kidnapped and things of that nature. Who was doing that? White people. So let's understand, people. You could be an Indian all you want to. But as shown right here, Indian is a Greek term. You can say it's the same thing for Africans. I'm with that. We not Africans, just like we not Indians. But African Americans in America, based on this knowledge this expansion and revolution, the knowledge to grow ourselves and our minds to let us know who we are coming from nature, we have other terms to use in America to describe ourselves other than using Black or African American. Ethiopian at the base is one of them. And then you go back and see what the Greeks said about the Ethiopians, which is another Greek term. But that term is better than using Black, okay? And that term is not limited to Ethiopia. The term is not limited to Ethiopia, and that's just an example. European usage. Revived in the 6th and 17th centuries. When they don't have BCE right there, that means AD. That means way after. That's like you being 150 years old and you talking to somebody 3 years old and we're having the same conversation. I'm trying to explain to you, or no, better yet, I've lost my knowledge, my ways of thinking by way of the Most High, and I'm listening to you. The 3-year-old baby is telling me who I am, describing me, telling my history and things of that nature, and at the same time, these 3-year-old babies enslaved us, took our resources, colonized the world, right? And now everybody pretty much speaks English, especially the ones who were super colonized and enslaved. The people who are super and colonized and enslaved that are not European and Caucasian, they only speak English. They only speak English. They don't even speak their original languages anymore. So it may be people in America that think African Americans only spoke and always spoke English. I asked the question, I said, what would be the purpose of other people from other continents and countries coming into places that are not theirs and colonizing and enslaving and doing terrible things to people? What would be the purpose and the benefit of that? To take something that is not yours and then down the line say we needed to do it because they didn't deal with the civilized God, the white Jesus Christ, the Catholic God, the Christian God. Back then, in the times of Greece and the time of Rome, there were rumors and stories about the great Ethiopians. In some cases, dealing with the perverts that like everything and anything, that got y'all following and doing everything and anything. Y'all not even, black men today are not even commanders and masters of 6 ether. 6 ether, 6 is sex. Sex ether. We not even commanders and masters. They got y'all acting like you just a horny little devil. You know what I'm saying? The Greeks, the Romans, they was some of the most perverted civilizations on the planet. So you got this European usage of Yindi. What did they do? They just copied the Greeks. I believe European language or European Old English, Old French and all of that, it's still your Indo-European languages by the Portuguese and the British. While India is the international name derived from foreign, primarily Western, interpretation The country is also officially known by its ancient native name, Better. And so, based on what this is saying, this Better really would predate India. Okay, but this Better goes along with this Sindhu because India is not talking about whatever better it is. Better is not the river. All of this information down to India is duly dealing with the river. Okay. So when you look at the etymology again, Old Persian, Sanskrit, Sind. I showed you that the province of Sind, the map I had up, it had Sind right there. Sanskrit, Sindhu. So how are you an Indian? How are you an Indian? Indian, adjective and a noun. Come on, my people, we gotta think. We gotta use 9 reason. 9 reason is what's gonna get you up out of this confusion. Following people and listening to people based on your emotions and your biasness and not looking at it for what it is. You understand what I'm saying? You can't deal with perpetrators who gonna sit around. They're not gonna do nothing. They're not gonna be active. They're not gonna be in them streets. They're not gonna protest. It's not my generation, but when I was 17 and 16 and 18, I was out in the streets protesting, active, with this revolutionary mind state. Some of these people talking to you on real, check their resume, they ain't do nothing. They ain't do nothing but get their head bumped by Dane Calloway and became a Dane Calloway Indian. When they try to contend with this 9 science, you know what they'll say? Dr. York got locked up because he was touching kids. That's what they'll always say that. See, what is that doing though? Trying to play on your emotion. Nah, nigga, get this mental work. Get this work. Anybody who don't want to be connected to the original people and understand you melaninites and DNA and you melanin science, man, go kick a rock. Go kick a rock. You know what I'm saying? Go kick the rock at Gibraltar. Indian. All this Indian is letting you know you was colonized. Okay? You was colonized. I thoroughly proved that India, okay, is not older than Africa. That America is not older than Africa. There's nothing older on this planet when it comes down to people than the original people in Africa. Okay? So when you look at this, right, this Ethiopia and these 2 translations, this not a transliteration. This is the same. They just took Latins, just took the term and changed the letters. That's a transliteration. It's not a translation. The Greeks called the Ethiopians this. Those being called Ethiopians is older than the Greeks. They didn't call themselves that. But like y'all saying, in the case of the documents and the paperwork, and so back in the day, there was no Indian. It was Ethiopians. And the Asians was called Ethiopians. Okay? But never were Africans called Indians. I'll show you. I think it's Herodotus. So Herodotus describes two distinct groups of Ethiopians spanning from east to west in Xerxes' army. He notes that Eastern Ethiopians allied with India had straight hair, but you got to say straight hair and what kind of skin? Dark skin. While those from Libya, Africa, had the woolliest hair of all men, though both were described similarly regarding skin tone. Okay. Now, you go look at maps. There's Ethiopia on the maps. Sudan is another term, right? Land of the blacks. The term Ethiopian meaning sunburnt face. What does sunburnt face mean? Because they'll be like, that's for the white people because they was getting red in the face. No, sunburnt means this is the caste system in India. If you understand the caste system in India, really what it comes down to is dark and light skin. Dark means you work outside all day. And so they royals and officials and people of high places in India don't get down like that. They don't work all, some of them who got the money don't consider themselves to work outside all day. That means you outside all the time. Think about it. How do you get dark? Tanning, right? How white people, they go get a tan. What does that actually mean though? You burn your skin to make it darker than what your skin complexion is at the time. But for black people, nigga, we permanently tanned. Put this sun science together in your mind. We are permanently tanned. So you must always be outside. That equates to them poor. You understand? We the original farmers and things of that nature. But today, in your mind, right? Just in your mind, because people who do construction, build and things of that nature, that's real work. But they'll flip it and say the nigga that's sitting in the office, in the corporate office, trying to sell shares and shit for commercials is the real job. Nah, nigga, the nigga that's building this shit got the real job. But they'll have it like this. The nigga in the office, you put him at top, and the construction worker, right? We look down on him because he building. He outside. He outside getting blacker. Was used broadly by Greeks for dark-skinned peoples stretching across the southern edge of their known world. Right? Not bad. Do that. Yeah, man, I'm gonna give you the real, and then you discern however you want to think. But if you stuck on, I'm a Dane Calloway Indian with no African ancestry, you doing injustice to your family line, to your lineage, right? To your lineage. Now, how can your lineage just go back to America, beginning in America, and the beginning of human beings don't even start in America? Like I said, there's no old world monkeys originated in the Americas. No monkey originated in the Americas. And so how you gonna, if some people, like they say, came from monkeys, then how you gonna get human beings over here ain't no monkeys over here. You'll say, yeah, it is some monkeys over here. And it's the theories that monkeys got on rafts, little wood particles, whatever, that was in the sea. Okay, maybe they made boats for themselves. Y'all don't know how smart monkeys was. Y'all don't live in the world of monkeys. Y'all ain't out there like Tarzan, that white man that can talk to the monkeys. Y'all not out there like Noah, talking to the monkeys and the rhinoceros, right, and the giraffe. This is a map. This is a map. Y'all need to come with the science, man. Right? Y'all need to come with the science. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm saying people with woolly hair. That's what I'm saying. Whatever skin complexion you are, woolly hair is dominant. Okay, I got woolly hair. So I'm always bigging up my team. Okay, I'm bigging up my team. I put my team up here. My team got Jordan on it. What is you talking about? My team got Kobe on it when it come down to sports. My team got Mike Tyson in it when it come down to boxing, right? You know, my team is off the chain. I'm just being funny using that as an example. But let's look at the world according to Herodotus, 430 BC. The Persians say they already interacting with the Persians. They already interacting with the Persians that was at the edge of the Sindhu River and was interacting with the Indians. Okay, but they had many names back then before they was called Indians. They had their own names. They had their own dynasties. They had their own empires. Look up India, right? But when they got there, these people, 430 BC, look at what exists. Atlantis. Okay. Atlantis would be in whatever this design is. This is Africa. The Greeks made all this stuff up. And if you look at the Greeks' culture, what they believe in, their gods, the histories of their gods, the stories, the myths of the fables of their gods, well, they applied everything as strength, knowledge, power, spiritual power. Okay? That shit is coming out of Africa. They didn't translate the gods and the goddesses. They transliterated and took the story. They didn't take the stories, just take the stories. There's libraries in Africa. Okay? There were people who spoke the oral traditions. You understand what I'm saying? There were people who spoke to kings, queens, pharaohs, mouth-to-mouth conversation. And that shit was taken back. Herodotus was probably privy of some of this information. That's being speculative. I'm assuming right there. But look at Africa. Look at Asia. Hold on, let's make it a little bigger. I don't think we can really see that. We're gonna make it a little bigger. Now, it's got Indus River on here. This is a map of the old world from 430 BC. And you know what? India is existing at this time. So you mean to tell me in 430 BC, you niggas know for a fact that America is cracking off? That is some histories going on in America that's affecting this world right here. that these people even know about America. Because America, like some of these, they're getting too high, that the gas is altering brain cells the wrong way. That America, these people know about the Americans, know about Ethiopians in the West. It could be some information out there, right? But they not Indians. Okay, that term India don't come up based on what they saying. The Christopher Columbus theory, there's no term Indian until the Latins get there, the Spanish get there on that side. Up here, okay, Dr. York released a book called The Celts. All Caucasians, no matter what religion they in, no matter whatever they call themselves, they all, everybody from up here at the top of here, okay, is Caucasian. These people have mutations. They've mutated away from the darker people. Why? Why? Well, what do you see from Africa, supposed Africa, all the way into Asia, South Asia? What is that? It's damn near a straight line on the bottom. You get up here, though, okay, this would be what? Outside of the tropics. So you got to imagine what it would be like for these people, okay, even though these people were originally black people. Black people all over the planet. But you don't know what's cracking in America and South America. Okay. Y'all, the pyramids is already in Africa right here when they in 430 BC. The pyramids is damn old in Africa at 430 BC. The pyramids and them statues that we looking at today is damn near ancient to the Greeks at this time right here. Now, this is the history that we working with. This is the history that's set. So anything in opposition to this, you got to come with better paperwork. You got to come with better books. You got to come with better knowledge. Smoking a spliff and getting on videos and doing a chat GPT 60-second short video on why you not an African is not enough. That's hocus pocus. Okay? That type of research is dead. That type of research is lazy. You can go find any book on this information that I gave you, any book that's outside of this, you got to peep the author's agenda. Because this is the real. Aside from really digging into cultures, people, dynasties, and things of that nature. Because the white people that's in control today go all the way back to the Greeks. Where's the Greeks? They all up here, up top. They might call the Greeks and people right here, okay, they might be on the edge of the tropics, them people that eat the olives and all of that stuff. The so-called Arabians or Iranians, Persians, things of that nature. They're losing more melanin, but they right on the tip while they might have a little tan to them. Right? It's not hot, it's good weather. They got a little tan to them. They got beaches. The further you get up there, okay, no, that shit cold. That shit is cold, not enjoyable. Okay, I went to When I lived in the UK, when I lived in London, I went to the beach. I forget the name of the beach I went to. That shit had no sand. It was little pebble rocks. I was like, man, the water was freezing. The water was freezing. You dig? So this is the world according to Herodotus. And the Ethiopians is on here. This not the Western Ethiopians like they said. Okay? This is the Ethiopians. And then over here, the Indus, they was also labeled Ethiopians, implying that they are dark-skinned with straight hair. Okay? These people were called Indians. Let's put it together. I'm ending it right here. Okay? The original people that went in here had woolly hair. But when they start mixing with the Persians, the Iranians, these people up here close to Russia, all the way into Turkey, these people can start coming in there and mixing with them. What they've retained is the eumelanin. Their hair is straight, and some of them light skinned. Right? All the way from the Arabian. All this means, man, is losing less and less eumelanin. Okay, the Southern Sea, everything below the South. What did Herodotus say? That's the Ethiopians. That's the Ethiopians. Where was that? Yeah. So there's with that being said, I think I thoroughly cleared up whether you're an Indian or not. If the black people in America were originally the Indians here or not. Oh, let's do one more. Let's do one more before I dip up out of here. Let's do this so I can, now it's gonna really be, you can't contend with it. Okay? For those who say they don't have no African ancestry. Alright, boom. Y'all know who this is. This is Noah Webster. Right? So he is the definitionist for this time. And dealing with English from where it comes from in their mother country to American, okay? Because they're mixing as well. And so their language is changing as well. It's not just Anglo-Saxon or original Germanic or original Irish or Welsh or British and all these different dialects within their English tongue. It's becoming an American dialect. All right. So some of these words that Noah used are pertaining to, in most cases, to America, but got origins in their original tongues, if you can understand what I'm saying. So let's look at Indian. Indian is in here. It says adjective from India and this from Indus, the name of a river in Asia. So the naming of India, that continent today, is not based on the continent itself. It's based on the people who traveled into India having to cross the Sindh River. Okay? Obviously, that's when you get to the Sindh River, whatever's over there is the Sindh people. They're going to call it the Sindh people. They're going to call it the Hindu people, right? They don't know nothing about all the different dynasties in India. They don't know about Barak. They don't know about Hindustan is Persian. Okay, so Hindustan, yeah, was before India. But they don't know, the foreigners don't know about all, the foreigners didn't know about the Chickasaw, the Choctaw, the Cherokee, the Seminole. They didn't know who these people, this all savages. These are all people, I don't know why y'all don't get it, against us or opposite us. We definitely not them. So how can I look at, I'm over here and this, I don't even know where I'm at in this territory yet. And I'm in somewhere in Virginia. It's not called Virginia though. When they got there, it's not Virginia. They named that area, whatever area they was at. You got to get this. So prior to the naming, and we accept that it's Virginia, and we talk about the history of Virginia, before that, you looking at a people that's indigenous to that land. You don't know where the fuck you are. You named it. That area, you named it. Virginia could have been anywhere. Kentucky can be right here, and Texas can be right here, but it can be switched. It's just how they name these places, this land, how they chop this shit up. But imagine looking at a people, right? Okay? How do you know that off the rip, that's the Chickasaws? You don't. How do you know I'm dealing with the Cherokee? I don't. How do I know I'm dealing with the Blackfoot? I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. The people inside know though, that I'm not no Blackfoot. I'm not Cherokee or I'm not Chickasaw. I know who I am. And so y'all telling me still, y'all Indians. See, it don't make no sense. Because it's pertaining to a river in Asia. And so how could it even pertain to America at all? It can't. Pertaining to either of the Indies, East or West. So the West Indies, are they talking about America? No. Are they talking about South America? No. They're talking about the Caribbean islands. But y'all like the term American now. Boom. Pertaining to America as an adjective and then as a noun, a native of America. A native of America. And so, because y'all be saying, this is where the Indians come from, right? Native. Produced by nature, original, born with the being, natural, not acquired, as native genius, affections, talent, right? Produced by nature. Produced by nature. So, that's kind of vague, right? When you say produced by nature, because they're calling themselves Native American because they're born on this land, right? Produced by nature, the original people off the rip, are the Europeans the original people of this land? Okay, so with that, we can see how that was placed to the Aboriginal, right? But when you look at the term America, it comes from Americo Vespucci. Originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Okay? But now applied to the descendants of the Europeans born in America. Now, when you're dealing with the copper-colored races, and you say that these people was misnomered Negroes, what do you call the darker-skinned Americans? What are they misnomered as? Okay. What are the darker skinned races misnomered as? African? So the copper colored races found here by the Europeans, they was misnomered Negroes. But if you don't have copper color, then you are African, misnomered African, even though you Aboriginal, originally indigenous to this land. Make it make sense. Okay? Because this is what Noah Webster said. Okay? Because they know the term American. They're already calling the continent of America American. They don't know nothing else. I just said that. They don't even know that it's Turtle Island. If that's what it's called. I don't think it's called Turtle Island. It's a language, right? It's not Turtle Island in English. All right, turtle is not turtle in the Cherokee language. Might be translated, not transliterated, translated to turtle, but turtle is not Cherokee, if you get what I'm saying. Okay. What else would they have called these people other than American, other than Aboriginal, indigenous, okay, and American or Indian? What else would they call these people? And so, how are the original people on this land? This is even to a Native American. How are you an Indian? Right? How are you an Indian? You should be whatever your language said that you was. That's who you are. Because really, race is a construct, right? This Negro, all of these are constructs, but we still classifying ourselves based on their classification and adjectives. So how can you be a real human, flesh and blood with spirit, if somebody else is labeling you and describing who you are, and you say, yeah, that's what I'm going with? Okay? When none of this says an American is an Indian, does it? American is not an Indian. So which one are you? Possibly just a dang Callaway Indian with a dang Callaway philosophy. Grand Kush, y'all hold it down. I hope y'all like the information. I hope this proved to my people that we are not Indians, man. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you may not want to call yourself African. That's on you. We're definitely Black Americans, but we don't have to consider ourselves Black. I mean, there's other designators for Black people in America, like I said, based on this knowledge. But ain't no way you're going to get past not explaining scientifically how America and the people in America is older than the origination story of all human beings in Africa. Okay, cut the bullshit out. Right? Also, with this information, and based on the information that I gave to you about the difference between translation and transliteration, dealing with languages, that when you talk about India, you're not talking about the West Indies first or America. You're talking about what they perceive these people to be based on running into the Sindhu River. The Sind River, which is Sanskrit, which is an Indo-European language, part of the Indo-European languages. As I've always said, based on being you melaninites, we are the original people on this planet, the original humans on this planet. So the racism can kick a rock. Wrong racism. Discrimination can kick a rock. Okay? Not telling the truth, being deceptive, being manipulative, believing in a myth, believing in falsehood, believing in the stories, believing today in how the stories was written about Black people, that we are only coming from slaves. Nah, but when it comes down to slavery, I'm upholding my people. Okay, this was forced bondage. Stop playing. Nobody said we want to go do work for free for the white people. Nobody said that. Whether you are Indian, or African, or Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, you from the West Side, okay? Nobody said we're willing to help you for free, forever. You get paid, we get nothing. Okay, I'm upholding my ancestry. Some of my ancestors helped these white people tremendously. Okay, the continent of Africa helped these white people tremendously. Okay, that right there, and in America, that's called getting to the bag. Respect the game. Respect your ancestors. All the lollygagging talking that we this and we that, man, and y'all chat GPT making jokes and shit like that when you ain't really put in no real activism. Nobody got time for that, man. You know what I'm saying? You ain't jumped out there with your weapon, defend no block or nothing like that. You understand? You ain't been in no shootouts or nothing like that where you having to deal with kids and protect kids from crooked motherfuckers on the streets. You ain't never stood outside and stood up against the popo when they was coming at you foul, when they was coming at you crookedly. Some of these people look like it. They ain't did nothing. Do y'all understand what the scramble of Africa mean? That mean moolah. That mean mogul status. That mean up this shit all the way up with this fake capitalist system. How the hell you Africa giving resources out? They taking resources and they not the strongest, most richest countries. Y'all don't understand capitalism? Okay, how you think America is one of the richest power sources, power continents? You got to take some shit. Okay? Make the gang bigger, man. It's not just blocks, it's continents. It's not just neighborhoods, it's continents. It's not just states, it's continents. And the same rules to the game that you follow from the streets all the way up to the corporate, you know what I'm saying? The corporate zone, it applies the same. There's just more knowledge to the game. With that, I'm out, man. Y'all hold it down, Grand Kush. Subscribe and like the video. Thumbs up the video if you may, please. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm out. Y'all have a good day. Peace.